Hey everyone, I'm here at PAX East 2015, deep inside the Indie Mega booth here with Guillaume. How's it going, Guillaume?
Really well.
Yeah, so we're here to talk about We Happy Few, a game that was revealed recently, and I'm really interested. I mean, you guys have a terrific art style. Your background, you're coming from Arcane Studios, the creators of Dishonored. I think some of that influence is showing here. So for folks who haven't seen it, who aren't familiar with the game, can you run us through it?
Absolutely. So it's a game about, it's a big social experiment that we're doing. It's set in the 1960s dystopian world where everyone's chemmed up and happy to forget something terrible in their past, and you're the one lucid person in the city. And you're living a little bit on the margins of society. So a lot of the game's about trying to fit in and hide in plain sight. So it's a little bit of a social stealth game in one way.
Great. So, and how is that expressed mechanically? Like, how are you sort of moving through this world and avoiding what seems like some really creepy antagonists?
Well, we don't, I mean, our antagonists aren't zombies, they're real people. They're just chemmed up and really happy. So if you just walk on the street, they won't attack you on sight, but they do expect you to have certain specific behaviors, and it's part of the discovery process of experiencing the game to figure out what the rule set is and how to kind of blend in to the rest of the population.
The premise almost reminds me of a Twilight Zone episode or something. What are your guys' influences? How do you arrive at this concept?
Well, we're big fans of Aldous Huxley and Brave New World. 1984 as well. It's not a surveillance society like 1984, but a lot of Clockwork Orange is a huge influence as well. The game's been compared to BioShock, which to me is a very, it's a big compliment considering we're a team that's about 20 times smaller than the BioShock teams. But like originally the vision from the visuals came from Whitney, our art director, and after doing Contrast, which is set in the 20s and has more of a film noir influence, I turned around to her and said, well, what do you want to draw, right? And she looked at me and says, I want to do the Beatle haircuts and the crazy 1960s mod, fashion styles, and I want to do it in England because the architecture is interesting, and we wanted to recreate another really rich visual environment.
I think that's something we haven't seen probably since like No One Lives Forever, which was very like pop, 60s, 50s kind of aesthetic. Do you feel like having a unique kind of look for the game is necessary at this stage? I mean, there's so much competition in the indie space. I feel like standing out visually has to really be important.
I don't know whether it's important for other people, but it's important for us personally. I mean, our craft is really important to us. So, whether it's the audio or doing crazy, funky stuff, we always try different things at each project. And on this project, we went out on a limb and we decided we were going to go out on a film shoot and film a character in our game and put him in every single television screens. And I've never made film before, but I've now have a really heavy dose of respect for the job of being an actor. I don't know. For us, it's whether it's on a visual level or on a gameplay level. We're a small studio and we're a bunch of industry veterans. We've done the AAA titles. We've gotten the titles under a belt, and we wanted to work in a smaller team so that we can actually take creative and artistic risks, and just I want to go to work every morning and love my job, and I want to do it with people who feel the same way.
It seems like a really fun aesthetic to work in. How do you guys prepare, and like what reference material do you pull in? What do you watch? What do you read to get your brains ready for something like this?
It's a lot of preparation, actually. Generally, we'll start gestalting. English is my second language. I pronounce weird words sometimes, but we'll start thinking about a project like up to a year in advance before we start working on it. Whitney went to England and she banged down on people's doors. She wanted to see their toilets, to see how the toilets were set up, and taking pictures. And we do a lot of background work of studying not just the original 60s and how fashion worked, but we also study contemporary movies about the 60s so that we could get a chance of not knowing okay, this is how it really was. This is all the movies that have been made recently about the time period. So we kind of try to blend both of those together to get a really kind of interesting style that really respects the time period.
How would you say people have been reacting to it at PAX? What questions have they been asking? How has it been connecting with the audience here at PAX?
People are surprised about how many mechanics there is in the build already. It's still a really early stage. We've been in production for about 7 months, so our mission really was to come here at PAX and show the build for the first time. Unlike Contrast, our previous game, which was a little bit more of a puzzle story-driven game, this one is much more amenable to us having several touch points where we show the game, we have players play it, and we gather feedback for it. The feedback has been really good. I mean, there's so many different mechanics that people hadn't really quite seen before, like drugs and the joy systems and the suspicion systems and the ways that the AIs are reacting. And the biggest the biggest reassurance for me is that I see players play, and we really are developing that kind of sense of paranoia and not quite knowing how to behave within the world, but realizing very quickly that you have to pay attention to what you're doing in order to survive in this world. Because as soon as it's pretty hardcore. Like as soon as you attract attention, it spreads very, very quickly across the town. You very quickly have a mob running after you. One of the things that we hadn't announced before the conference is that the city is procedurally generated as well. So it's almost like a Don't Starve meets BioShock experience, where you're running in the city and you're probably going to die quickly the first few times, and then when you restart the game, you're starting in a new city with a different layout, and you're equipped with the knowledge and the strategy of how to survive in the game that you're kind of gaining over the different replay sessions that you have. But the city's different, so you can't just go and redo the same things you did previously.
We're really looking forward to it. It's an interesting concept, terrific art design, I think. When will we get to play We Happy Few?
Well, that's a big question. I'm going home next week, and I gave the whole team off so I could figure that next step. But in terms of like our next steps for now, we're going to be working on this game for at least 8 to 12 months still, and we're doing, thankfully, much more comfortable now with Contrast having shipped that there's not just money coming out of the company, we're also making some money, so it's giving us some stability and some time to really give it some love. But we're probably going to do, we're looking to do a Kickstarter campaign in 6 to 10 weeks with the express purpose of getting a dedicated community involved in the game and helping us, evolve the game over the next couple months to really nail the gameplay in a solid fashion before we put in the narrative portions for it.
Great. Well, good luck with that. And before I let you go, thanks again for talking with us. We've got one surprise. We're giving away a gaming laptop to one lucky viewer in our audience, of our YouTube audience. So I'd like to have you sign that for us if you're willing to.
Absolutely, I'll be more than happy to sign it.
Great, yes please.
Okay, do you guys have a pen I could use?
Yes, we do. There it is.
All right. Can I pick this spot right here?
Absolutely, the hinge, it's yours.
There you go.
Great, thanks a lot.
Thank you.